Today we're going to do a little statistics review from last year, but first let's start with our do now. Solve both of these problems on your own now. Alright, so the first problem is a review with angles. Here, our two angles are vertical. They share a vertex, and they are opposite of each other. Vertical angles are equal, so I can create an equation and set these two angles, 2x plus 5, equal to each other, so equal to 105. Here I solve my two-step equation, minus 5 on both sides. I'm left with 2x equals 100. Divide both sides by 2, and I get x equals 50. Number 2 is also an equation, but this one is reversed in that our x is on the right side. We're still going to solve it the same way. I need to get rid of the numbers that are with my x. So on the same side of the x, I have the 3 and the 15. The 15 is the constant, so I'm going to get rid of it first. I'm going to subtract 15 from both sides. On the left side, I really have two negatives, so same sign, add and keep. I get negative 21 equals 3x. Divide both sides by 3, and I get x equals negative 7. From the beginning, if you would rather flip it and put your x on the left side, that's fine. You would write this entire expression, 3x plus 15, equal to negative 6. So again, anytime your equation is flipped, you can rewrite it so that your x is on the left side. Even though you have a calculator in front of you, try not to use it and do these completely by hand or in your head. You're going to have to do these type of problems on the inactive part, so let's practice now. Solve all 10 of these fast facts, and then we'll go over them. Number 1, negative 11 minus 15, same sign really, add and keep, negative 16. 8 times negative 4, negative 32. Negative 9 plus negative 2, negative 11. 5 minus negative 12, this double negative turns into a positive, so 5 plus 12 is 17. 4 minus 7 is negative 3. Negative divided by a negative, positive 5. Negative 10 minus 16 is negative 16. Again, we can rewrite it as negative 10 plus negative 6. Negative times a negative is a positive, so positive 88. Again, this double negative turns into a positive, so I have negative 6 plus 4. Different signs I subtract, and I'm left with negative 2. And 9 plus negative 9 is 0. Different signs, so I subtract. Now let's review our formula facts. Again, take a minute, write the answers to these on your paper, and then we'll go over them. Alright, complementary angles add up to 90. Supplementary angles add up to 180. Vertical angles are equal, just like our do now. Area of a rectangle is length times width. Area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2, or 1/2 base times height. Area of a circle is pi r squared. Circumference of a circle is 2 pi r. Volume of a rectangular prism is length times width times height. Volume of a triangular prism is base times height divided by 2 times height, your 3D height, or 1/2 base times height times height. Constant of proportionality is always y over x. Surface area of a rectangular prism. There might not be a set formula that you use, but that is when we do the top, bottom, front, back, side, and side. And surface area of a triangular prism is, again, we take it shape by shape. So this would be when you find the area of the two triangles and the area of the three rectangles. Hopefully we're getting better at knowing our formulas by heart. Before we get into our statistics for today, we're going to do a quick focus lesson on triangles. If you remember back to the mock EOG, there was a question about side lengths with triangles. These are really easy, and it just requires one key point that we need to know. No matter what kind of triangle you have, the sum of the two shortest sides of a triangle must be greater than the third side. Take a minute and make sure your key point fill in the blanks are completed on your worksheet. Again, the sum of the two shortest sides of a triangle must be greater than the third side. So if I look at the question, which set of side lengths will form a triangle? So again, I'm going to add the two shorter sides. So 2 plus 4 is 6. 6 is not greater than this 6, it's equal to, so that will not form a triangle. For B, the two shorter sides are 5 and 3. 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 is not bigger than 10, so B doesn't work. For C, my two shorter sides are 3 plus 4. So 3 plus 4 is 7. 7 is bigger or greater than 5, so this will form a triangle. And to double check, my two shortest sides, 6 and 6. 6 plus 6 is 12, and 12 is not greater than 15, so that will not form a triangle either. Take a minute and just solve the first triangle problem. So here this time we're looking for a set that will not form a triangle. So for the A, the two shorter sides are 4 and 6. 4 plus 6 is 10, and 10 is greater than 8, so this will form a triangle. But I'm looking for which one will not. So A is not my answer choice. For B, 5 plus 5 is 10. 10 is bigger than this third 5. That can form a triangle. This would be an equilateral triangle. All sides are the same, and all sides can be the same for a triangle. That means it's equilateral. For C, my two shorter sides here are 2 and 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 is not bigger than this third side, so C is my correct answer. And I can double check D. My two shorter sides, 2 and 3. 2 plus 3 is 5, which is bigger than that third side, so our answer is D. The answer is C. That will not form a triangle. See if you can solve number 2 on your own. So for number 2, I have two sides of a triangle that are 3 and 9. So let's say this is 3 and this is 9. I want to know which inequality represents all the possible lengths of the third side. So I'm looking for what could this measurement be. So if I look at A is saying that x can be less than 6. If I choose a number less than 6, let's say 5. Now if I were to add up my smallest sides, 5 and 3, 5 plus 3 is 8. That is not bigger than the third side of 9, so that wouldn't work. B is saying let x now be a number bigger than 6. So I'm going to choose 8. If I add up my smallest sides, 8 plus 3 8 plus 3 is 11 is greater than 9. So that could work. Now it says, and x should be a number less than 12. So let's pick 11. My two smaller sides now are 3 and 9. 3 plus 9 is 12, and 12 would be bigger than that side 11, so that works. So the answer is B for that second problem. So what do you remember about mean and median from 6th grade? As we go over the few key points, be sure you have written them down on your worksheet. So the first key point is about mean. In order to find the mean, we add up all the numbers and divide by how many numbers there are. Another word for mean is average. So the mean or the average is a number that best represents the entire data set. Some numbers will be above the mean and some numbers will be below the mean. Key point number 2 is about median. Median is the middle number of a data set when the numbers are in order from least to greatest. That is the most important part. In order to find the median, the numbers first have to be in order from least to greatest. And key point number 3 is range. Range is the difference between the largest and the smallest numbers in the data set. Before you move on, be sure you have all of your blanks filled in on your worksheet. First, we're going to do some basic practice. You need to match the letters with the data set that corresponds to it. So you might need to find the mean for a data set, or you might need to find the median. Go ahead for number 1, find the mean in the median, and find it on the right-hand side. So for number 1, if I start with the mean, I'm going to add all 7 of these numbers up. When I add all 7 of these numbers up, I get 84. Now I'm going to divide that by 7 since I added 7 numbers up, and I get 12. Over here I do see a mean of 12, so number 1 is E. Go ahead and solve for number 2. The mean for number 2, I would add up all 6 numbers and I get 108. When I divide that by 6, I get 18. Over on the right-hand side, I don't see any answer that says mean of 18. So now I need to find the median. I'm going to put my numbers in order from least to greatest. So I should have 12, 14, 18, 19, 20, 25. I'm going to cross them out from the outside inside. When I have 2 numbers in the middle, I need to find the average of these 2 numbers. So I would do 18 plus 19 and get 37. Divide by 2, I get a median of 18.5, and that's D. So number 2 is D. Solve for number 3. So starting with the mean, when I add all 8 of these numbers up, I get 85. When I divide by 8, I get 10.625. And when we round that, I do get C. The mean is 10.6, so 3 is C. Solve for 4. For 4, to find the mean, I add all them up and I get 110. I'm going to divide by 5 this time, 5 numbers, and I get 22. In my answers, I don't see a mean of 22, so I'm going to go ahead and solve for my median. Putting my numbers in order. Cross them out from the outside to the inside. I get a median of 21, and that is an answer choice, letter F. solve for 5. So when I add all my numbers up for 5, I get 62, divide this time by 4, and I get 15.5 for my mean. That's not quite just 15, so I'm going to go ahead and solve for the median. Putting my numbers in order, they're actually already in order. So I would cross them out, 12 and 20. I have 2 numbers in the center, so 14 and 16, so the median, 14 plus 16 is 30. 30 divided by 2 is 15, so my median is 15, which is B. So number 5 is B. And then for my last one, we hope it is A, 14.5. So we're going to check 16 plus 12 plus 18 plus 12 is 58. 58 divided by 4 is 14.5. So number 6 matches up with A. Hopefully this was a good refresher on mean and median. In 7th grade, statistics are not that simple. Instead of doing a one-step mean or median, we are now given at least 2 different data sets, and we need to compare and contrast the mean and the median, or the range, for each data set. So if we look at the chart shows the number of points Kobe Bryant and Stephen Curry scored in their past 7 games. Who had a higher average points per game in their last 7 games, and by how much? Round to the nearest tens. So this question is asking to compare the averages for Kobe and Steph. So I first need to find the average for Bryant. So I'm going to add all of my numbers up. And I get a sum of 179. Next I'm going to divide by 7 since this is 7 games. So I get an average, I'm going to round, 25.6. Now let's find the second average. So I'm going to add the scores up. I get 216. Again, going to divide that by 7, and I get an average of 30.85. So I'm going to round that up to 30.9. So Curry had the higher average. His average was 30.9. But it also asks by how much. To figure out by how much higher, that's asking for the difference. So I need to subtract 30.9 and 25.6, and I get 5.3 points higher on average. So on average, this is saying that Kobe Bryant scored on average 25.6 points per game, whereas the average 30.9 is saying Curry scored on average 30.9 points per game. So he had a higher average points per game, and by 5.3 points every game. Now the second question is saying, did the same person have the higher median score? So did Curry have a higher median score than Kobe? Let's go ahead and set up my numbers in order from least to greatest. We'll start with Kobe first. So 6, 13, 14, 17, 34, 35, and 60. Cross them out from the outside in. So Kobe's median score is 17. Start the other one. 17, 21, 27, 29, 37, 39, and 46. So Curry's median was also higher. His median score was 29, and Kobe's median score was 17. So yes, Curry had the higher average points per game and the higher median score. So as you can see, we had to take multiple steps. We had to find the mean and or the median for multiple data sets and then compare. Now try this one on your own. I want to know, what is the difference between Jamal's mean test score and Dante's mean test score? So to find Jamal's mean test score, I need to find the sum of his 6 tests, and we get 506. Then I need to divide that by 6, since there are 6 test scores, and I get 84.3 as his mean or average test score. For Dante, the sum of Dante's 6 test scores are 513. I'm going to again divide by 6 since he has 6 tests, and I get 85.5. So Dante has the higher mean, but we now need to find the difference in their mean scores. So difference means subtract 85.5 minus 84.3, and I get a difference of 1.2 points between Jamal's mean test score and Dante's mean test score. Great job today. Hopefully this was a good refresher and review of 6th grade statistics and a little work bumping it up to the 7th grade level with working with multiple data points.